I'm joined now by Ryan Borowski, a witness to yesterday's shooting. He is in Boulder this morning. Ryan, good morning to you. How are you doing today?
Um, didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night, but I'm hanging in there.
What happened? Describe how you came to be at the shopping center and then what unfolded.
Um, so my wife is under the weather, so I'm sleeping in a separate room and spending the days just out and about, and trying to avoid too much close contact with a sick person. And so that just brought me to the other side of town from where I live, at a grocery store I rarely shop at, and a sugar craving, um, got me to go into the store for a soda. I thought about grabbing some ice cream, chose a bag of chips instead, and I keep reflecting back. If I had decided on ice cream, I might be dead.
Oh my gosh, what a thought. Why do you think that? What happened?
Um, the the frozen food section where the ice cream is, of course, was on the east side of the building, and I walked in on the west side. And a moment after I made that decision to not go all the way to the other side of the store, that's when the shooting started, and I would have been right where the shooting started had I chose to get ice cream. It's just as simple as that. I would have walked right past the gunman, and potato chips saved my life.
My goodness. When you first heard those pops, I'm assuming that was the sound. Did you know
Yeah.
right away that it was gunfire?
Um, I have to say that the first one was met with a lot of confusion by myself, and it seemed like everybody else around me. It seemed like the first shot was followed by deafening silence. I don't remember anybody screaming. I don't remember, anything. So it was just confusion at that point. Somebody dropped something maybe. And then the second shot happened, and it was clear that wasn't somebody dropping something. And then I saw somebody running towards me, terrified. And before the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth shots, I was running down the aisle towards the back of the store.
So you ran and hid rather than try to exit?
No. So I'm guessing it's my. I used to work at a grocery store, so my intuition helped me out. I couldn't make any real complicated decisions at that moment, but running away from the sound and towards the back, I must have known that I wasn't running into a dead end, into some corner, into a trap. And I knew that there'd be an exit. So me and two or three other people who were customers immediately on my tail and in front of me busted through the back doors into the storage area. A couple employees saw us, and we told them, gun, 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 run for your life. And I think I saw a few people go into what I saw was like a storage area. Maybe they were thinking about hiding, or maybe they just lost their way and they couldn't find the way out. But employees, showed us the way, and I just kept on running in the right direction and got outside as soon as I could.
I think when we hear your story, a lot of us wonder what we ourselves would do in a situation like that, if we would run or if we would freeze. Ryan, do you think that you responded the way you would have expected? I mean, how did you even know what to do?
I'm going to say big shout out to Sam Harris here, because I've been binge listening to his podcast recently, and he had a self-defense expert on there, personal protection, and he gave the advice to run. Even if somebody was right next to you and they said, don't run, and they have a gun, the advice was run still, because compliance is not going to set you free, but running might get you injured, might get you shot, but you have a better chance of surviving. So that was fresh on my mind, that I needed to run. I'd like to think that if I was within tackling distance, that I would have tackled the shooter. But where I was, I couldn't see the shooter. I just heard the shots, and I knew to run.
There's a long list of cities now that have shootings attached to them. How do you feel about Boulder now? How is this going to change your mind about your community?
Boulder is one of the most beautiful places on earth, and it has its problems, but on many days it seems like a paradise in a bubble. And we love the bubble, and it feels safe. We got mountains on one side, prairie dogs, and open space on the others. And definitely my illusion of absolute safety was shattered, was absolutely burst. But afterwards, I walked home. I live about 10 miles away from where I was, and my car is still there. So just as some sort of physical therapy, just to get it out of my system, I walked and ran home. And I have to say, I still felt safe. I love this city, and it has some of the nicest, sweetest, kindest people in it. And that doesn't mean that there aren't people here who are suffering with a lot of emotional and mental turmoil. And we need to recognize it where we can see it, and help it where we can, and speak to it, and give people help where where they're willing to receive it, and stop people from hurting when they're not willing to change. But I still love this city, and as stressed out as I was last night, and still am, I walked home, and I felt safe. Strange, but true.
I'm glad that you could find that peace during that long walk. Ryan, thank you so much. All the best to you. Really appreciate you taking the time to share your story at this really raw moment, and I hope that your wife is feeling better. You take care.
Thank you. Appreciate it.